Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome back again, our Sunday meeting, reading Risala, inshallah. We're going to continue reading where you left off from Ramadan treatise. And I hope everyone is doing fine, everyone is doing well. All right, without further ado, let's continue reading the eighth point. So far, as you know, we have read up to the eighth, and we have discussed the importance of fasting. And the last, I think we discussed about the importance of fasting and looking for the divine name Al-Samad. Those are the ones that we highlighted. And each human becoming a mirror to just achieving to the levels of angelic state and flourishing. And it is as if like all these noors coming from Allah during Ramadan is just some sort of kind of sprinkle kind of rain. Another important question that we had was we discussed last week as a trait to see it, good deeds. And those are the recent ones that I can remember. And another thing that we loved actually just talked about that the world of Islam is transformed into a mosque, a place of prostration altogether. And then we're joining to that sort of kind of halakha and becoming a ring of this chain, and then inshallah just benefiting all this beautiful sharehold and getting huge kind of good deeds and for our participation, inshallah, and reaching the level of humanity. And that's one of the important discussion, the first point that we just made, that to practice our humanity. All right, so far after this quick kind of like just the recap, so let's continue. So I'm pretty sure like every one of you just know Ramadan treaties. Let's continue, and inshallah, we'll finish the eighth point, and then we're going to stop before the ninth and discuss. So today we have our panelists like from last week, Harun Najam from North Dakota and Kul Najam from UK joining us. And also we also have other panelists and just from previous weeks. Please do not hesitate, and you may please just join in and talk and share your thoughts with us. All right, let's begin. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulina Muhammadi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Bismillah. The eighth point. Another of the wise purposes behind the Ramadan fast concerns man's personal life and is as follows. Behind the Ramadan fast concerns man's personal life and is as follows. The Ramadan fast from food and drink is a healing physical and spiritual program is a healing physical and spiritual program of the most important kind. When one's lower soul leads one to eat and drink as one pleases, it is not only harmful for us physically, from a medical point of view. For when we fall on things and devour them like vultures, without considering whether they are lawful or unlawful, we poison our spiritual life as well. Such a soul finds it very difficult to obey the heart or the spirit. Fifth deep note, the soul nafs should of course be distinguished from the spirit ruh, even though some tend to conflate the two, from the translator. It is more than happy to take the reins in its own hands and gradually turns into something utterly uncontrollable. Instead of being mounted and led by its owner, the lower self turns into a beast that mounts its owner and rides him or her wherever its fancy takes it. Fasting in Ramadan, however, and the fast from food and drink in particular, trains the lower self and makes it accustomed to a kind of diet. Gradually, the soul begins to discipline itself and learns to listen to and obey commands. Furthermore, through fasting, the lower self will no longer be making the wretched stomach ill by stuffing it full of food before the last meal has even been digest it. And by withdrawing even from lawful acts, as it is ordered to do, the soul will learn how to listen to the commands of both the Sharia and human reason, and thus avoid that which is unlawful. In short, it will try not to destroy its owner's spiritual life. Furthermore, the vast majority of human beings often suffer from hunger. Human beings thus need both hunger and discipline in order to be able to learn patience and endurance. Fasting in Ramadan means the patient endurance of a period of hunger that is longer than 15 hours in most places. As such, it provides discipline and is a kind of prolonged training session. Fasting, if done properly, is certainly a cure for impatience and lack of endurance, both of which tend to prolong or increase men's affliction. Furthermore, the stomach is like a factory with numerous workers, and many of the body's organs are connected to it. If the lower self does take a rest during this month, it makes the factory's workers and the organs attached to it forget their particular duties. It keeps them so busy that they remain imprisoned under its tyranny. They become so confused and distracted by the continuous hustle and bustle of the factory that all of the workers and all of the other organs cannot help but forget their real and most valuable duties. It is for this reason that, for centuries, those close to God have disciplined themselves through fasting in order to train their souls and attain perfection. Through fasting in Ramadan, the factory's workers understand that they were not created solely for the sake of the factory. Similarly, the rest of the organs are freed from the base amusements of the factory and are able to delight in the more elevated pleasures of the spirit. It is for this reason that in Ramadan, the believers experience forms of enlightenment and spiritual joy which differ in accordance with their degrees. Consequently, the subtle faculties such as the heart, the intellect, and the spirit make great progress during Ramadan on account of the fasting and self-denial. The stomach may indeed weep, but the rest of the organs, limbs, and senses jump for joy. As it says, this was another beautiful piece, another beautiful writing and point from Stud. And now I would like to, without for waiting, so ask my panelists who would like to go first and share his comments and thoughts with us. Arnajam, Kulnajam,
Yeah, I can go first, but
please.
mostly because I saw a mistake there, and
Oh, please.
the mistake is mine, obviously. Uh, if you
It
scroll
was a
down,
beautiful accident, maybe we should say.
well, I don't know about that. It might have been late at night, but if you go down a little bit,
Certainly.
we can come back afterwards to discuss.
Mhm.
Yeah, carry on. That's it here. It should say if the lower self does not take a rest during this month. That's what I think it should say. I think that's a mistake.
Yes, I got that as it.
I hoped that you were going to
Um,
point it out.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get
Yeah,
this as is, Kolnojam, and blame
Mm.
on you. Yeah.
yeah. No, I'll take definitely the blame for that. Yeah. So that needs to be corrected. But going back to the main theme
Mhm.
here, I mean, obviously, fasting is good for you physically. We know this.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's become popular, even among people who would never think of, fasting for a whole month.
Mhm.
Intermittent fasting, various sort of regimens and diets and fasting conventions are out there.
Mhm.
But I think we missed the point. I mean, obviously, everything that Allah commands us
Mhm.
to do, however trivial, however small, will have a benefit, will have a spiritual benefit. And because Alam al-Mulk is the kind of physical or corporeal translation of Alam al-Malakut, anything that happens in the spirit will be reflected in this world. And this everything that happens in the spiritual world is reflected. So, I mean, it's easy to understand. If we neglect our spirit, we're going to neglect our body as well, and that neglect will show. Um, so, there is a very close, intimate connection between the spirit and between the rest of the body and the rest of our, ourselves. So we know this, but I think we often or at least in the past, people have overemphasized the physical benefits of fasting. We know that there are physical benefits, many, and there are many benefits that we probably can never know. But one of the greatest benefits is having a kind of disciplinary framework to work in. Now, you may say, well, we have one all the year round, 5 times prayer a day. But I mean, that's a very loose framework, actually, if that's all we're doing. In Ramadan, the sort of the pitch goes up, right? And it becomes much more comprehensive because not only are we praying 5 times a day and we're reading the Quran more, or we should be, we're doing it on an empty stomach. So, all of this makes for a kind of framework of obedience. And one of the things about the modern world, well, especially the postmodern world, is the complete lack of any criterion of what is right and wrong other than personal taste or personal whim or personal inclination. I think we've spoken about this before. We are supposed to take our morality from our belief, from our epistemology. In other words, we take our morality from Quran. And we believe in Quran because we believe in Allah. And so there's a hierarchy. Our epistemology depends on our ontology, how we see being, how we see existence. And through the revelation, we get our morality. And from our morality, our behaviors are supposed to issue forth. But unfortunately, especially now in the so-called postmodern world, this hierarchy has been completely inverted. And people say, well, you can do anything you want to do and be anyone you want to be. So instead of taking our behaviors from our morality, we construct our own morality from our behaviors. And those behaviors are dictated by the nafs.
Yeah.
Because we've done away, the basic sort of consensus is that we've done away with the idea of an absolute criterion of right and wrong. So now truth becomes relative. So we have moral relativity. People talk about my truth and your truth. Well, this is your truth, but my truth is different. You could say this is your opinion and my opinion is different, but the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
But we've got rid of that. So we are a very disobedient, amoral society, unfortunately. Not just immoral, but amoral. There are no moral guidelines. Well, of course, we know that there are, but most people don't accept them. And so, because we are part of a society, and we get affected, Ramadan is a kind of inoculation for us. It's a kind of reminder that look, you're different. You're a believer, and we may become a little bit infected, or can I say, affected by being in society, in a society which is secular and has no taboo anymore, no idea of sin. We can become affected by that and infected by it. So in Ramadan, we impose upon ourselves, or we have imposed on us by our Creator, quite a tight and rigid framework of obedience. So we can reacquaint ourselves with what it's like to be, a supplicant, asking Allah for things and showing our dependence and feeling our dependence, through our hunger, through our
Correct.
thirst, through our
Certainly.
tiredness.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what people don't have the opportunity to do. Those who, fast intermittently,
Mm-hmm.
okay, they may come out of it with a healthier body, but do they come out of it with a healthier
Mm-hmm.
soul?
Yeah.
Uh, so I think this is what I'm getting anyway
Mm-hmm.
from the
Mm-hmm.
first reading of this. Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, thank you, Kunjam. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, especially I like that. I just the idea of like reacquainted ourselves. Yeah, with this kind of opportunity, maybe we should say, especially like in the during Ramadan. Let me just go back to Harnajam, then maybe we can just make another tour, just talking about 8 point. Harnajam, what would you like to comment or
Yeah,
share?
thank you, Nazif,
Please. Yeah,
Nazif
you're
Hocam
welcome.
and Colin Hocam. It is
Mhm.
beautifully flowing.
Isn't
Uh,
it? Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I like it.
yeah. Me
Interestingly,
too.
I like listening more than talking. So, um,
But not today.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I want to
Hmm.
pay attention to
Hmm.
this endurance. Um, and maybe my recent readings, part of my recent readings in general,
Hmm.
I noticed that, we have physical body and we
Hmm.
have spiritual body to say,
Hmm.
or we have tangible sides, we have
Hmm.
intangible side.
Hmm.
So we know that, exercise is at the core of any health benefit. We know this, right? Like
Hmm.
for any chronic diseases like dementia, cancer, whatsoever. Um, exercise just research shows that, exercise helps any chronic
Hmm.
illnesses and any other diseases too.
Hmm.
So even I think exercise is more important than, different diets offered. So any abstention from eating or eating, Mediterranean diet. So I think
Hmm.
exercise is the most powerful compared to any kind of thing a human can do beneficial to him or herself.
Hmm.
So with that fact, actually, what is striking is usually we think of our tangible side or physical body
Hmm.
when we say exercise. We maybe do aerobic exercises, we do walking, running,
Hmm.
whatsoever, and that builds up our strength training, just holding weights.
Hmm.
These are really all helpful, and we know in the long run, as if, our body needs to struggle.
Hmm.
So struggle is the key for the body to recover. So this is physical side, and it is research supported. Nobody says that, it would be uh, less beneficial or not beneficial
Hmm.
for this side. But when we look at the other side, the fascinating thing is that our spiritual side is similar to our um, physical side.
Hmm.
It requires endurance, it requires exercise to develop.
Hmm.
It's like developing skills, right? Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
even
Okay.
I liken to the example of think about it, we have a profession that pays a lot of money,
Hmm.
but you don't enjoy and you don't learn much.
Hmm.
So I liken this to fasting just for, cutting ourselves out of eating, just for
Hmm.
the sake of, meeting the iftar so that I can break my fast, do my duty, do my job, and eat. It's like taking a lot of money,
Hmm. Hmm.
while breaking the fast.
Yeah.
But really, with such a fasting, I'm not building up any skill. I'm not exercising in my example, or it's not
Hmm.
endurance at all. So
Hmm.
it looks like here, yeah, this piece just draws our attention to endurance um,
Hmm.
or gym, let's say mindful
Hmm.
gym or heartful gym, for us to build up our skills, skills to be a better worshiping person, to be
Hmm.
a better supplicant, to conquer, our spiritual sides better, like what I can do, what I can feel, what I can learn, with
Hmm.
my intellect, what I can enjoy, doing really.
Hmm.
This is, of course, the personal side. Also, as collective human beings, we can see through our eyes, like as society, we can see all of ourselves together as a single body of spirit, like angelic state mentioned before. So once we are this whole body spirit, as humanity, maybe we just understand these things benefits much better, and we know actually Ustad Said Nursi wrote one of the treaties during Ramadan, or most of the influential treaties come
Hmm.
during Ramadan, right?
Yeah,
During
yeah, yeah.
during the Ramadan month. So
Hmm.
that's also to my benefit. So if there were
Hmm.
nothing like Ramadan,
Yeah.
Nursi's heart would not be open to write many
Yeah.
influential
Yeah.
pieces.
Hmm.
So when we take as a whole, actually, what I'm saying overall is we are in a spiritual gymnasium. So we are doing gym activities right now.
Hmm.
And if I take it just on the face value, it becomes like I'm working in a profession that I don't enjoy and I just do it for the money.
Hmm. That's a good way of like putting it. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So just that our intention makes it just a lot better, of course. Yeah, just with the good intention, with everything, perspective. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, thanks a lot, Harnojam. Yeah, I really liked your examples and everything. And the last kind of like just your the way you put it, and it's kind of a little bit of kind of also warning for our own nefs and just to keep like reminding. Yeah, what are you in it for? Yeah, because I mean,
I can
unfortunately,
I can throw the ball again to you,
oh yeah,
you can tell
yeah.
us economics of, human exercise,
Oh
how it's
yeah.
economical
Uh,
in our for our
Econ, yeah,
body
it's
or
just
so forth.
the way that maybe in microeconomics, like in the studies, especially this part too. I mean, it's not maybe like the way that I like just thinking about the economic kind of point of view because of Ustad actually. Just so he's one of the just a few maybe scholars that just emphasize economics as a study. And for people like it's just and he says like for those of you who are studying trade and economics, that you can maybe understand and just learn more. And it's quite interesting because like microeconomics is just the way that it starts from consumers looking apart. So in a sense that as a human being, every single one of us, we are trying to optimize our every single activity in a given time, like in a given day. We're sleeping, so everyone wants to sleep maybe a minute, like a minute more, a minute more. So you see, while we are increasing the number of hours or minutes to while we're sleeping, we are maximizing our benefit, our utility that we're getting from sleep. This is a just basic kind of activity that we do, and just you can easily take it to any other activities we're doing. So we're optimizing it. So that's like it's been how we are programmed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whatever we do, we would like to maximize utility, yes. Profits, yes, and so on and so forth. So in here it is. I kind of like the the last example that you just gave. Yes, and this is a great opportunity for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us. So as a human being, we should be maximizing our benefit, right? But with the good intention, inshallah. So like we would like to just take this opportunity by heart and maximize it to the at most like as possible kind of just location, the tallest kind of point in our function, maybe I should say. So then like we can enjoy and then of course I mean invest in for hereafter. So but as you just said, so like with the bad intentions and just maybe not like it's been feeling it correctly and not learning it profoundly. So that will actually just that may take us to a different path. And so, but that's like I mean, just my kind of take from here, like when you just said. So, as a consumer, as a trader, maybe just as I said again at the beginning. So, if we would like to cultivate it better, so we need to understand Ramadan carefully, and then inshallah maximize our benefits and utility to the most. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if just it makes sense.
That was great. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. All right. Any other comments from Kunlejam or anyone would like to ch chime in? So, Hikmet or someone? All right. Maybe we can continue reading our ninth point. So, inshallah.
I
Uh,
remember one of
mm,
my during my PhD times, I had
mhm,
an American reconvert friend, you know.
Hmm.
It was his first time fasting, and he
Hmm.
mentioned that I was amazed with my performance during my teachings. He was a
Hmm.
teaching assistant at the time. He
Hmm.
said that, you know, during fasting, he was so efficient, like he was not
Yeah.
giving a word which is useless. He
Hmm.
was just optimizing, as you said, the
Hmm. Yeah.
words he uses during
Yeah.
teaching, and he was
Yeah.
amazed by his
Mhm.
short but powerful performance, you know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that reminded me, thank you. I was talking to another friend, actually, he's not Muslim, but when I explained it a little bit about these, just during the day, so the self-denial and this and that, his automatic, I mean, he's another kind of academician, I should say, that he says like, wow, you're gonna be saving a lot of time then, like in just in especially not like in just in stopping eating breakfast and lunch and everything. Oh man, I mean, it's just like I love it.
Yeah, look at his efficiency.
Yeah, so like he's looking at it like from a different kind of point. And unfortunately, I had another college friend from Turkey. I mean, God bless his soul, but he was not kind of a good believer. So he had like just huge problems with like believing. But quite interestingly, he was my one of my I believe maybe I should say he was only a friend that I have ever seen that who's who's fasting with us and with a bad intention. So he was fasting only for the health reasons. And a couple of friends like actually just told him like you can fast another month, like you can choose, or maybe during maybe just winter time or something. Why do you choose even fasting with other people who are just religious? He says, oh, maybe I can join in like these activities maybe a little bit. But quite interesting. So it's we have different kind of folks looking at it. But at least as we just talked, right? So and Ramadan has this great kind of maybe just designed kind of way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designed it. And everyone can join in, but we need to have good motivations to begin with, and then understand actually just profoundly. So it is more than these health reasons and whatnot. So it's just extra kind of benefit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just gives us. But it's a great way of kind of course, and just doing other opportunities like reading Quran and just all the other incentives like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just He's inviting us and take these actions, and then of course share and participate many more religious just gatherings and whatnot. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's continue reading ninth point, and let's see just.
Uh, as if there were
Mhm.
some more points in the piece that we read, we can discuss before going to ninth
Oh,
point.
sure, certainly. Yeah, I was looking at it so at the same time. So certainly,
I'm
and
sure Colin Hocam should
yeah,
have lots to say on some
please. Yeah,
parts of
maybe.
this.
Yeah. Belinda, would you like to comment a little
Maybe
more? I
especially
mean.
patience. We didn't talk about patience, how it helps, how it
Mhm.
is important in our lives, how fasting
Mhm.
just encourages us to be patient.
I think you're
Yeah.
talking to the last person on earth that you should be talking to when, when you, if you're talking about patience,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
I'm sort of notorious among family and friends for being impatient.
Mhm.
But that's, I think, comes from comes from other issues. Uh, Endurance, I have no problem with. I mean, I've been able to endure things because of this training, I think.
Mhm.
I mean, if I put my mind to it, I can endure. And I think endurance only comes with practice. You
Mhm.
know, like endurance runners, those who run like 50 kilometers
Mhm.
or even more, and crazy distances. It only comes with practice. And I think that Ramadan, because of its mostly not because of its physical constrictions and
Mhm.
restrictions, um, but the effect of the spiritual weight of Ramadan, which is very, very light actually.
Mhm.
It's like inversely proportionate to the physical difficulty. The spirit actually soars. If
Mhm.
it flies. If you've all probably experienced it, just an hour before iftar, you
Mhm.
become very light. It's very easy actually to um, physically be very active an hour before
Mhm.
you break your fast. You become very light physically as well. You feel that you're walking on air. Um, it sounds like I'm describing some kind of drug trip, but I'm not. I think these are the endorphins that we get
Mhm.
from the spiritual pleasure.
Yeah.
Thinking of iftar,
Mhm.
it lightens you,
Mhm.
and that helps with endurance generally, and hopefully with patience as well. I'm not sure what patience is actually, and I'm not
Mhm.
saying that because I don't have any.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how we're supposed to conceptualize it. Does it mean putting
Mhm.
up with things until they've finished? Because this is how I've always approached patience.
Mhm.
But patience, I think, is to do with recognition and it's to do with resignation.
Mhm.
Because in this world, you can't have a perfect
Mhm.
happiness. And I think that's always been my main stumbling block, is
Mhm.
thinking that we can get perfection from this world somehow. And I think most people here, I mean, most academics, and I don't really like academics generally, but believing academics are fine. They are perfectionists. And if you're a perfectionist,
Mhm.
it's very difficult to be patient with
Mhm.
yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a nafs problem there somewhere. So I've always looked at patience as okay, like tolerating. It's another
Mhm.
reason I don't like the word tolerance. Oh, we have to tolerate other religions. It means like putting up with it. You
Mhm.
put up with it and hopefully it will go away. Like if
Mhm.
you have a cold, I tolerate a cold, but
Mhm.
actually a cold, you get a virus, is a
Mhm.
guest.
Mhm.
And it's there for a reason. It's there to play a role. And
Yeah.
enduring it is very
Mhm.
different to tolerating it.
Mhm.
So I think fasting, if it's done properly, definitely, it's certainly a cure for impatience because what it does, it teaches you not to tolerate things, but to be resigned to them.
Mhm.
And resignation doesn't bring perfect happiness, but it does bring contentment.
Mhm.
Because in this world, there is no such thing as perfect happiness. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
if you've lived long enough, you will realize that there is no
Mhm.
way you can get perfect happiness, perfect pleasure,
Mhm.
perfect beauty, perfect anything from this world.
Yeah.
And perfect
Definitely.
happiness is what, you talked about, as an economist,
Mhm.
optimizing and
Mhm.
maximizing.
Mhm.
And I can't remember who one of the big philosophers said that, we maximize personal benefit. This is why we're alive,
Yeah.
is to get as much benefit and pleasure as we can. But
Mhm.
you can never get enough.
Yeah.
You can never be perfectly happy because as you grow older, you start to lose people, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh, Friends die, parents die. I don't have any
Mhm.
uncles and aunts left at all now, and my
Mhm.
cousins are starting to die.
Mhm.
So you
Mhm.
realize it's your turn soon,
Mhm.
and so you can only ever be either contentedly resigned or resignedly content.
Mhm.
You can't be perfectly happy. And I think
Mhm.
Ramadan also teaches us that.
Mhm.
It shows us our weakness, it shows
Mhm.
us our impotence and our poverty, and it says, okay, you have iftar,
Mhm.
and now you think you're satiated, but tomorrow you're going to be hungry again because that's your real state.
Mhm.
Impotence and poverty are your real state. And how can someone who is existentially impotent and poor ever be perfectly happy in this world? It doesn't make sense. This
Mhm.
world is not heavy enough to bear
Mhm.
the weight of all of Allah's absolute names.
Mhm.
And perfect happiness only comes with our appreciation of His perfection, and we
Mhm.
don't see His perfection as it is in this world.
Mhm.
So
I mean, mhm.
it may be it's part of the tragedy of being human,
Mhm.
is that we are consigned to this world and we are destined not to be perfectly happy, and that's a
Mhm.
tragedy for human beings who don't believe. I mean,
Mhm.
that is a real tragedy for them. But for us,
Mhm.
it's difficult as well. And I
Mhm.
think Ramadan mitigates to a certain extent and attenuates that difficulty and makes it slightly easier to be human.
Mhm. So it's basically just it's just like it starts as like a prolonged training session. It's a great opportunity to discipline oneself by understanding all these faculties and feelings and just everything that just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us, all these like
Yeah,
beautiful faculties to how to use them. And they are not programmed for here, they're not designed for here, but understand them and inshallah invest in for hereafter. So that's
yeah.
what I
This
understand. Yeah.
this is why I think,
Mhm.
when people say, "Oh, I feel
Mhm.
so sorry for you fasting," people who are not fasting,
Mhm.
non-Muslims.
Mhm.
And I want to say, no, it's you I feel
Mhm.
sorry for, because how do
Mhm.
you break the vicious circle of
Mhm.
the illusion of self-ownership?
There you go. Yeah, here. Yeah, yeah, illusion. That's what it is. And even like yeah, just yeah, yeah. Even in time itself is a great like it's an illusion of time. So just as if like we're gonna live in this world like as if we're gonna live forever. But yeah, it's the on the contrary. Yeah. Um, Beautiful. Thank you, Kolajam. Yeah, just for that great like kind of reminder, especially just and this is Harnajam, you must have something to add this.
I'm happy that I poked
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
light.
I am so happy now. I'm
So
happy that yeah, please.
yeah, actually, patience,
Mm-hmm.
reminds me slowing down, and
Mm-hmm.
slowing down is how important. And I can see in
Mm-hmm.
my life,
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of anxiety type of problems, with this modern society arises because of being fast, multiprocessing,
Mm-hmm.
doing more with less,
Mm-hmm.
But interestingly, human understanding, even the word understand, just comes
Mm-hmm.
from standing,
Mm-hmm.
slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
So patience, I understand it as slowing down, and
Mm-hmm.
really, um, it's our ontology basically. We need to be slow to understand, to reflect what's going on, and that's the meaning actually. Our search, our quest for meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's kind of the gist of creation. We need to find meaning. So, and the only way is slowing down through through patience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I get from birding.
Yeah. But from the most positive sense, slowing down, I believe, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. Actually,
exactly.
I can't see any harm. Like, yeah, it can
Mm-hmm.
just also commemorate to being lazy type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's not. I mean, we're not talking
Mm-hmm.
about being lazy, just
Certainly, certainly.
um,
Mm-hmm. It's like slowing down, like I just as like some people say, like just to smell the flowers and everything. So just to understand those beautiful letters that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent us every single day from all around us, right?
right,
Surrounding
right.
beauties and to see them. Yes, that's I
Actually,
mean that's what I
even
understand, like from that I envision when you say slowing down. Right.
right.
Yeah.
Also, maybe it is related to when you slow down, you come
Mm-hmm.
to the moment, now, and we have problem with now. Usually, we are talking about
Mm-hmm.
future, or we are affected by our past.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of ruminating thoughts.
Yeah.
In order to come to now, to observe fully
Mm-hmm.
what's going on and understand, we need to slow down
Mm-hmm.
because our mind will take us to future immediately,
Oh yeah.
and it will make us faster, more efficient, more productive, this and that. But most likely, we will be missing the now.
Yeah.
Actually, all our observation or all our worshiping
Mm-hmm.
state, supplication state is
Mm-hmm.
now,
Yeah.
we need to just taste, understand the bounties of the Creator now. So
Mm-hmm.
I think patience brings us to now as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah.
I really
Mhm.
love that idea of the
Mhm.
slowing down thing, and
Mhm.
I didn't understand it as any kind of agenda to be lazy.
Mhm.
Obviously, that can be understood, but slowing down means, I
Mhm.
think, as Harun said,
Mhm.
we are strong between the past and the future.
Yeah.
And we are very, very rarely in the now. And we go out
Mhm.
and our heads are down. We don't look up. We don't see what's around us. And
Mhm.
if if anyone with a memory of their adolescence,
Mhm.
if you really like someone and they're writing letters to you,
Mhm.
you don't ignore them, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
A letter
Yeah.
comes, you open it, you're straight there, you grab the
Yeah.
postman's hand and you get the letter.
Yeah.
We go outside and we're so intent on, what's the next thing I need to do? Where's the next place I need to be?
Mm-hmm.
Productivity, this and that,
Mm-hmm.
rushing here, rushing there, always busy. We
Yeah.
don't see what's around us. We don't see the love letters that come from our
Mm-hmm.
Creator the whole time.
Yeah.
And it takes time, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you sit down and you read it once and then twice and then three times. And we don't do that with the
Yeah.
letters we get from our Creator.
Yeah.
And that's really, I think we need to slow down to do that. And it doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
becoming physically inactive or inert.
Mm-hmm.
It means just get all of this white noise out of your head,
Mm-hmm.
this constant preoccupation with either the past or the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love that idea of sabr as
Mm-hmm.
slowing down, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to
Mm-hmm.
integrate that
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Great discussion. Yeah. I really love it. And so just especially like it's been slowing down, like it's in a sense, like it's been coming back to the moment that we live in. I guess like it's just it comes and it reminded me that another writing of Ustad Said Nursi, he says, the life that we just believe in, it's just the moment that we live in. It's not the past or the future, but so it's just this moment, and it's not going to come back ever again. And but actually, just it's quite like an interesting, isn't it? Maybe just you guys, maybe more that we work, and especially today's like the age, and of course, I'm just our ancestors, and we have achieved the efficiency levels, productivity levels of that has the past has never ever seen, and we're saving a lot of time and everything. And even people are like discussing about like just now uh, even decreasing the hours like the people are going to work to from 40 hours a week to 30 hours a week, even like just less. But and then like it's been human beings like this, we use that extra time that we save to some, just maybe unnecessary kind of activities, like I mean just watching TV or this and that. But in the on the country, so like if we could just, reverse it, and we have actually more time than ever than some other people to slow down and to use it for hereafter and invest in for like with friends and everything, just even attending these type of kind of discussions and learning more. And that is quite amazing. Maybe we should just share this with people that are around us, like our friends and family members. So then maybe we can uh, just tell people that like how what we are like thinking about it, and inshallah in this way. So then that would be also helpful for them to see these great opportunities in the long run. Yeah. Yeah, thanks a lot, Harjam. I really appreciate the way
Actually, I just
that.
remembered, in
Mhm.
Risale, actually, there is this commander example, like sending
Mhm.
soldiers, to the future and
Mhm.
to the
Mhm.
past and
Yeah,
loses patience. I think it's an example of patience, and
certainly.
it's an amazing example.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, it's great actually. It fits in right here. So like I just to train oneself and to become like I'm just most self-motivated and disciplined and everything. So it's because it's us that we need the most. And beautiful, beautiful. Any other comments like from our guest? And please do not hesitate. So if anyone raised their hand and everything, if I missed it, please let me know. Um, yeah, maybe. No. Maybe we can just, I mean, I would like to start maybe the ninth point, but we don't have enough time. Maybe we can just go back to if any other kind of just points that we would like to share, like Nahar Najam or Najam, Hikmet Najam, would you like to comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to
Oh,
say a couple
please.
things
Yeah,
that
just so I
to
can.
when we were talking about the patients and also
Mhm.
that how we can just send our soldiers that Harun Abi
Mhm.
was saying.
Yeah.
Today's in social life, especially for younger generation, most popular disease or illness, which is
Mhm.
anxiety and depression, is coming from this type of like not being really patient or
Mhm.
not understanding or having discipline, because everybody old, especially for young generation, they're just thinking about the future. They don't know that what to do right now. Instead, because of that, they're thinking about the future that is really giving them really anxiety and depression. Whoever I talk to, especially for young generation, that in like a students group and even like a more younger people, and they just say, "What am I gonna do? I don't know what to do. What's expected, or what do I need to expect? Do I need to graduate? After graduation, there is not gonna be a new job, and all kinds of like everybody needs to think about the future, and this is important that to make a plan, and but that doesn't mean that you are the only one who's making plan, and there are others like Allah is also making plan for you, and especially that today's, if you think, or if they are thinking only that they are the only one who's doing everything by themselves or making the plan and for their future, then they are getting really big anxiety and then depression. And I don't know that if I told you guys before that like 70% of the young generation right now, they are using depression or anxiety pills right now. And in the school as well, and in normal social life too. And whoever you talk to, and then they are always in that in their mind that they have, what am I going to do tomorrow or next day, 2 years later, or 5 years down the road? And am I going to just get the job or have a family? And these are, if you just remove from yourself from Tawheed, and if you don't understand really clearly, everything is also Allah's control, not something that you are just choosing. I mean, not under your control, and whatever you do, but they are not like that. The last week or 2 weeks ago, we were talking about like you are Harvard graduate, you're something different, you're special, and you can do whatever you want to do. And we talked about the second or third point as well. So that's why the patience and Ramadan is just giving us, okay, slow down. And this is what we were saying, but you have to have some kind of patience that focus on today's life or today's time, or just look around instead of thinking about or wasting your time. I wouldn't say fully wasting, but just putting every single item in your mind that for future or the past, and then saying, oh, I did this, I did that, and why did they do to me, and then what happened, and leave it everything like past is past and future hasn't come yet. We don't know what's going to happen, and we have no idea if we are going to leave or not in the future, 1 month later. And that's why that I suggest to my students as well that it's good to make a plan for the future, but the thinking about that the current life is really important. And Ramadan fasting is just helping us stop, hold on, just wait, and what you are doing, what is you are sometimes enjoying. And the important part as well that I wanted to highlight too, before any illness or sickness that is going to completely stop you and think about today's life or something, Ramadan and patience is giving you, hey, stop, look around. Because when you have like when you go to doctor, you don't know when and what is going to happen. Like if they say, hey, you have a cancer, everything is over, right? Before this type of challenges or illness and sickness stops you, well, you have to, this Ramadan or Ramadan and fasting is saying, okay, I'm fasting, and then I need to just think about other things as well, instead of just thinking about it tomorrow or 5 days later or 5 years later. That is just a good program to align your mind to how much that you need to focus on today's life or how much that you need to focus on the future and the past. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Waraja. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful comment. Yeah.
Can
It's
I
just
just say something? Sorry,
Well,
can I
please
just
go
say
ahead.
something? Yeah.
Yes.
I was listening to you, Nazif, and also to Harun, and then to Hikmat there. I'm thinking, you couldn't buy this kind of Imani advice. You couldn't buy it with all the gold in the world.
Yeah.
And this is why I got a little bit sad when he was talking about his
Hmm.
students. I don't know whether Hikmet's students are Muslim or non-Muslim, or
Yeah.
whether they have any kind of
Hmm.
conceptualization of belief.
Yeah.
It's bad enough for us as believers living
Hmm.
in this world where there is no surety out there in the modern world, in the
Hmm.
world, world of which we are a part, whether we're a part of it, whether we like it
Hmm.
or not.
Hmm.
We're in the secular milieu, right? But there's nothing
Hmm.
we can do about it really.
Yeah.
But for those who don't have a belief, this is a time of great tragedy, I think. He said that like 70% of a
Hmm.
certain age are on antidepressants.
Yeah.
It's a particularly difficult situation for men, actually, for young men.
Hmm.
Uh, in this country, the leading age of death between, I think, 25 and 40 is suicide for
Yeah.
men. I
MashaAllah.
mean, this is just
Hmm.
horrendous. It's
Hmm.
horrendous, and it's kind of emblematic of the lack of guidance that we have.
Hmm.
And of course, this is all a result of the,
Hmm.
hyper secularization.
Hmm.
Actually, it's been very slow process over 400 years,
Hmm.
starting here, and now it's everywhere.
Hmm.
And of course, it's affecting everyone. We're only now waking up to see, all of those people in the past who are saying, well, it's going to get worse, it's going to get worse because we're losing God, we're losing faith, we're losing all of these things. We used to
Hmm.
say, yeah, all people have always complained, people have always said those things. But
Hmm.
actually, now we look at society,
Hmm.
especially with the rise of, the century of the self, identitarian politics, the blurring of lines between good and evil, the
Hmm.
absence of taboo, the disappearance of sin, the
Hmm.
blurring of borders and divisions between men and women,
Hmm.
even,
Hmm.
where people now are told that they can identify as whatever they want. This is going to cause huge mental anguish. No wonder people are out there not wondering what they're going to do tomorrow, let alone next year, because they don't know who they are.
Hmm.
No one knows who they are because they're
Yeah.
being told you can be anyone. Tomorrow, if you feel like this, you can be this. The next day,
Hmm.
if you feel like that, you can feel like that. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Anna Salasi is a revolutionary piece of work.
Oh, yeah. Is it?
How do we get that across
Hmm.
to people who don't believe?
Hmm.
Uh, and also Ramadan Risala. Well, the whole of the Risala we know is a
Hmm.
kind of revolutionary piece of work because they said telling the truth is a revolutionary act. I can't remember who said it, and
Hmm.
it is because people don't want to hear the truth.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
there is a kind of a social consensus out there, hyper
Hmm.
reality, which is completely false, and
Hmm.
anything outside those parameters are rejected. As being regressive, conservative,
Hmm.
reactionary, always looking to the past, too traditional. But it's tradition that we've lost, and that's the tradition of revelation,
Yeah.
which gives us our framework. We've lost it, and now our youth are suffering really badly. When Ustad writes in the first flash about
Hmm.
Yunus alayhi salam, he's saying that he's writing this in around 1923, in or early 30s. He's saying, look, our situation is 100 times worse than that of
Hmm.
Yunus alayhi salam. And I'm
Yeah.
going to say now, in 2025, our
Hmm.
situation is 1,000 times worse than it
Yeah.
was in Ustad's time.
Hmm. Hmm. Here. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. Seriously, Kunal.
Sorry to end on it's not a negative note actually, because
Oh
we
no.
know
Yeah.
we know what the solution is. I mean, it
Hmm.
sounds negative,
Hmm.
but it's not, because we know what the solution is. We
Yeah.
have the solution in our hands. We study it in these
Hmm.
circles. How
Hmm.
do we get it out there to the world? That's
Hmm.
the issue.
That's the issue. Yeah, so certainly. I was even discussing it with a friend of mine, like, who's in Turkey now. So yeah, it's the same thing. So just that we have a huge, maybe just an important kind of role on our shoulders, and by simply, of course, I mean sharing and asking each other. So inshallah, we're gonna find a way to somehow share this beautiful meal to share with others, inshallah. And may Allah help us and this maybe on this like in a path and this kind of important kind of role. and maybe we can have like maybe by simply just reaching out like more people, and we can invite and more, and maybe you can find someone like Hulusi abi, so and then who can help us even thousandfold. Yeah, inshallah. Yeah. Any other thoughts from Harnajam?
Actually, I had a suggestion.
Please.
Maybe transcripts of this conversation can be
Mhm.
obtained, so it's an easy piece, and we can just
Oh.
turn it into a piece
Mhm.
of writing, on
Mhm.
Ramadan, for example.
Yeah, yeah, why not?
So,
Yeah.
because I think it is
Mhm.
beautiful values here.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
is lost, and most likely people are lazier in watching than,
Yeah.
reading is another way of
Mhm.
accessibility.
Certainly, certainly. I even heard like of a brother from Philly. So he said like, I'm always like there, like I'm listening to you guys. I was like, I had never seen your name. This is like I listen later, so kind of like a podcast or something, which
Yeah.
was like beautiful. So I was like, okay, sure. I mean, whatever works for you. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, but it's a great idea, Harnijam. Yeah, I'll yeah, inshallah, just Mujam and some others like we'll take a note on that. And it was a great, great week, another kind of just beautiful gathering of Sunday. And I would like to thank all our panelists, Harnajam, Kulnajam, Ikmal Hojam, joining us and sharing your thoughts with us. It was precious and just seriously, it was beautiful. And like Kulnajam just mentioned, so it's there's no way you can even like buy it with like tons of gold. These beautiful kind of advices and readings from Risale that we have just basically experienced at the moment. And I'd like to also thank you, to all other participants that choose to be with us today. And now I would like to, if there's no other kind of comment, I'd like to invite Jazmojam to recite some Quran and inshallah make dua.
We'd like to thank you for your moderation as well, Nazif. It's
Thank you
excellent.
so
It
much.
really is.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you
My
so
pleasure,
much.
sir. Thank you so much. Jazmojam, it's
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صدق الله العظيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم اجعل ليلة قدرنا في هذا رمضان خيرا من ألف شهر لنا ولطلبة رسائل النور وجميع المؤمنين. May Allah, oh Allah, make us our Ramadan better than 1,000 months, inshallah, in this year. Make us, inshallah, the highest benefit get from the Ramadan, inshallah. Ameen.
All right. Thanks a lot again for joining, and inshallah, looking forward to seeing you all in next week. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.